My wife divorced me to go after her beloved white moonlight. My $150 million demolition compensation arrived shortly afterward. How to spend this money is driving me crazy. Let's get a divorce. The person I love is my classmate Connor Blake. My wife Luna Reed's voice was like tempered ice, each word clear, carrying an unwavering firmness. After the last class reunion, I realized that the one I've always loved in my heart is him. She lowered her gaze, her eyelashes casting small shadows beneath her eyes, her tone hiding an uncontrollable flutter. Those words were like a sharp blade, piercing straight into my chest. Memories from the previous life surged like a tide. Those pains sealed by time now vividly replayed in my mind. In my last life, she likewise asked for a divorce to be with her white moonlight. Back then, I was full of unwillingness, stubbornly refusing to let go, believing that if I held on, I could win her heart back. And so we tormented each other in a painful marriage, wasting the years. At 45, Luna Reed's novel Love Him burst onto the scene, overnight becoming all the rage across the land. In the book, she turned her longing and attachment for Connor Blake into delicate words, every line filled with deep affection. And I, the man she called her husband, became the target of countless readers' ridicule, ultimately gasping my last from endless pain and humiliation. But in this life, everything will be rewritten. I secretly clenched my fist, lifted my head, forced on a look of bitter grief, took a deep breath, and slowly nodded. Luna, I agree. The string of persuasive words Luna Reed had prepared stuck in her throat. She stared at me in shock, her eyes full of disbelief. Ethan Johnson, you really agreed to divorce me? She clearly hadn't expected me to be so decisive. She originally thought there would be a fierce argument, that I would put on a show of pleading to stay. I stood up, my tone calm, but carrying an unarguable firmness. What else? Do you expect me to force someone who doesn't love me to stay? Let's go, we'll get the divorce certificate right now. After today, I might change my mind. She bit her lip, a flicker of unease in her eyes, as if she couldn't believe things would go so smoothly, and with a hint of doubt she probed. You won't try to stop me? Try to stop you. Huh. I scoffed inwardly, but kept my face composed. I want to try, but that would make me feel selfish. To love someone is to accept everything about her, to respect her, to understand her, and to silently wish her well. Seeing me like this, she was very happy. I'm so glad you came to terms with it. After saying that, she didn't say more, hurriedly got up and rummaged for the marriage certificate. Her anxious look was as if she feared I'd change my mind. The divorce proceedings went surprisingly smoothly. The urban community houses at home are all registered under my parents' names. Luna Reed spends money like water. My salary has almost all been squandered by her. Apart from a car, there is no other joint property in the house. The car is mine. You won't need it. I looked her straight in the eye, my tone resolute. She hesitated for a moment, thinking she was going to Los Angeles to find Connor Blake and that the car would indeed be useless. She nodded in agreement. But after a little while, she looked troubled again and, fidgeting, said, I'm going to Los Angeles to find Connor, but I have no money left. I cursed silently in my heart, but showed no change in my face. I patted my pockets and found I didn't have enough. So I used the excuse of going to the restroom to call a friend and borrow money. On the phone, I humbly begged my friend for help with a loan, and only with great difficulty did I scrape together $10,000. I had to get rid of the person. The sooner the better, the farther the better for my peace of mind. My temple is too small to hold such a great bodhisattva. I slapped the money heavily into her hand, forced out a tear, and with a pained expression said, Take it. I wish you and Connor Blake happiness. Why, you take care. Luna Reed actually shed tears. I saw she seemed reluctant, so I was scared and drove her to the station that night. Watching her drag her suitcase into the waiting hall, her figure gradually blending into the crowd, I finally breathed a long sigh of relief, as if a 1,000-pound burden had been lifted. Finally sent off. Go follow Connor Blake and enjoy the good life. I only hope we never meet again in this life. Bye-bye to you. Luna Reed didn't know that in a few days the house my family owns in the city community would be demolished. That house is in a prime location. From this demolition, my family will receive $150 million in compensation. In my previous life, I used that money to buy many properties and lived a wealthy, worry-free life off the rents. Luna Reed followed me, enjoying wealth and luxury, feasting on the best. But she didn't cherish it. She ate what was mine, spent what was mine, yet her heart kept longing for her white moonlight, and she even wrote that novel that hurt me. In this life, she can go off and be joined with her white moonlight however they like. Don't come entangling me or tormenting me again. I looked up at the night sky. It was the summer of 2015. Cicadas chirped in waves, and the evening breeze gently brushed past. It's not too late for anything. My new life is about to begin. Thinking of the $150 million demolition compensation that will soon be in my hands, and of being freed from the woman who tormented me for years in my previous life, a cold smile involuntarily tugged at the corner of my mouth. As I turned toward the car, I knew the gears of fate had already begun to turn in a new direction. Time flew, and a week passed in the blink of an eye. On the side of the wall by the entrance to the community housing in the city, a large red character was spray-painted, making it especially conspicuous. Sure enough, our house, thanks to its prime location, received a demolition compensation of $150 million. Watching this old house about to be torn down, my parents' eyes were full of sorrow and reluctance. This place holds so many memories for our family. I hurried forward to comfort them. Dad, Mom, demolition is a good thing. The developer is compensating us $150 million and giving us 2 residential units. Don't look so down. From now on, we'll live in a new home, and life will only get better. My dad and I had never been serious people since I was a kid. When he heard me, he puffed up and glared. You little brat, who are you calling a mournful face? Believe it or not, I'll smack you. Then he even made a move as if to hit me. I dodged with a laugh, feeling unusually lighthearted. By the way, where's your wife? I don't think I've seen her in several days. My dad suddenly remembered his good daughter-in-law. I put on a serious expression and said, Dad, I have something to tell you. Don't get angry. Then I told my parents, in full detail, that Luna Reed had divorced me to go after her first love. The moment my mom heard it, her face instantly darkened. How can she just decide to divorce like that, without telling us in advance? She really doesn't take us seriously. My dad was more easygoing about it, but still looked furious. I'm so angry. I told you long ago that woman couldn't be trusted. What's the use of being pretty? I was right, wasn't I? My dad had long opposed Luna Reed joining the family, saying she wasn't the kind of girl who would settle down and live steadily. Now it seemed he had been right. Fortunately, she divorced before our relocation compensation arrived. Otherwise, she would have taken a lot of money. My mother has always been practical and put a lot of importance on money. Fortunately, our family still has $150 million in relocation compensation, so finding a daughter-in-law for our son won't be a problem. She divorced before the demolition to go chase that moonlight fellow. She just wasn't born to spend money. Our family isn't short of daughters-in-law. Now that one's gone, the next will be even better. I need to ask Aunt Clara whether their Vivian Hart is married yet. That girl grew up before our eyes. We know her inside out. She'll definitely be able to get along well with our son. As she spoke, my mother had already started picking out new daughter-in-law. Coincidentally, I had the same idea. But the girl I had in mind wasn't the neighbor's sister Vivian Hart. It was... The July sun seared the earth, and on the old locust tree in the neighborhood, the cicadas screamed hoarsely without stopping. My parents and I were waiting early at the gate. The developer's contract car stopped on the alley right on time. Uncle Johnson, Aunt Johnson, Ethan, project manager Mr. Leo, Lee got out of the car with a beaming smile, carrying a gift bag printed with the company logo. Your plot is prime real estate. Our Mr. Wayne Wong specifically instructed that we must get the contract done beautifully. My dad replied, Leo, let's get the awkward stuff out of the way first. Don't play games with the contract terms. Rest assured, Mr. Leo Lee took the contract out of his briefcase and pointed to the key clauses with a red pen. Demolition compensation, $150 million, 2 resettlement units at Skyline Manor in the city center. Sign today, and the funds will be transferred directly to the account you designate. See, the penalty for breach is all clearly specified. My mom put on her reading glasses and checked each word, muttering, house area, compensation unit price, payment method. I flipped to the last page of the contract and saw the clause sign after funds are received, and arched an eyebrow at Mr. Leo Lee. Brother Leo, shall we check the account before signing? Of course. Mr. Leo Lee took out his phone and instructed finance. Ms. Wendy Wong, send Mr. Johnson's payment record to my phone now. In less than 5 minutes, The bank message alert tones rang one after another, and a notification of $150 million credited glaringly appeared on the screen. My father's hand trembled as he held the pen over the signature line, unable to put it down. This is really over 100 million. My mother snatched the phone and checked the numbers repeatedly, suddenly her eyes reddening. Old man, we've worked hard for most of our lives. Mr. Leo Lee sensibly stepped back 2 paces and smiled, saying, "Congratulations, Uncle Johnson, Aunt Johnson. From now on, you'll be billionaires. By the way, the demolition crew moves in the day after tomorrow. Is there anything else at home you need to pack up?" I patted my father's shoulder and signed my name on the contract. "We've moved almost everything out. Mr. Leo Lee, when the resettlement house is handed over, we'll need you to take extra care. Leave it to me." Mr. Leo Lee put away the contract, took 2 bottles of Maodai out of the gift bag, and said, "This is a small token from our Mr. Wayne Wong to celebrate your housewarming." Watching the car disappear in a cloud of dust, my mother suddenly grabbed my arm. "Son, with so much money, how should we spend it?" My father waved his hand. "Deposit it in the bank and live off the interest for now. Tomorrow I'll start asking around to see how much bride price we need to prepare to find you a new daughter-in-law." Amid the cicadas churring in the alley, the 3 of us stood in front of the old house, spray-painted with the character and smiled more brilliantly than the scorching sun overhead. Staring at the long string of numbers on the phone, my mom's hands trembled as she clutched the bank book. So much money. I've never seen so many zeros in my life. My dad sat in the old rot-tan chair, chain-smoking his pipe tobacco, not even noticing ash falling on his pant leg. "Mom, Dad, I want to discuss something with you." I pulled a stool and sat down between them. "Of this $150 million, I'm planning to take $100 million and leave you $50 million. What do you think?" "What?" My dad suddenly choked on his smoke, coughing as he widened his eyes. "Are you talking nonsense? $50 million is enough for the 2 of us to live off for 3 lifetimes. But you just got divorced. Shouldn't you keep the money to remarry and buy a house? You want $100 million. What do you want to do with it?" "Dad, don't worry about me." I opened the plan in my hand, which listed many money-making projects like buying property, Bitcoin, New Energy Tesla, Kwaichao Matai stock, gold, and so on. Among them, the 3 large characters photolithography machine were especially conspicuous. I plan to invest that $100 million in real estate. Housing prices haven't risen yet, so it's the perfect time to buy at the bottom. Besides, I've already lined up several startup projects, all sure win deals. My dad came over, glanced twice, then suddenly slapped his thigh. "All right, no wonder you're my son, more successful than me. But let me say this up front. If you lose money doing business, don't you dare set your sights on our $50 million US. I laughed and put my arm around his shoulder. "Don't worry. When I make a lot of money, I'll buy you a big villa and hire a maid to take care of you." "A villa isn't necessary. First find us a daughter-in-law, then have a big fat grandson." My mom mentioned a daughter-in-law again, and a big fat grandson. Speaking of this, I can't help but recall my previous life, my daughter with Luna Reed, Nora Johnson. She was obedient and sensible when she was little, but as she grew up, she was not a bit reassuring. She even praised her mother on TV for being utterly devoted to her first love. It was her praise of Luna Reed's remarks that made me spit blood in fury again. For over 20 years, I poured my heart and soul into it, and I raised an ungrateful wretch. This lifetime, Nora Johnson won't get a chance to pop up and spite me again. When I walked through the gate of the welfare home, the cicadas chirping suddenly grew harsh. Following the administrator's directions, I saw that figure in a corner of the second-floor activity room, Sophia Taylor. In the last life, she accepted my meager support, and when everyone laughed at me, she stepped forward without hesitation, using her frail body to shield me from the wind and rain. Until the last moments of life, it was she who held my hand tightly, giving me the final warmth. And my now famous wife, Luna Reed, at that time, taking advantage of the production's convenience, was happily off to see her long-cherished white moon, leaving me far behind. My gaze involuntarily fell on Sophia Taylor. She wore a faded high school uniform, the fabric long washed to a pale hue, the edges of her sneakers frayed in a fine fuzz, all telling of life's hardships. At that moment, she was bent over the worn long table, intently doing her homework. Sunlight sliced through the dust-coated window at an angle, illuminating the dandelion down caught in the ends of her hair and bathing her in a soft halo, like a tranquil oil painting. Damn, she's still a high schooler. I couldn't help but rub my forehead. Only then did it dawn on me that I was actually 7 or 8 years older than Sophia Taylor. But so what? Raising her myself would be all the more meaningful. Director, I want to adopt her. I pointed excitedly at Sophia Taylor's profile, my eyes shining with an emotion I could hardly hide. The director's face instantly turned complicated, his gaze a tangled mix of reluctance and contempt, as if silently asking, "You're a strapping young man. What are your true intentions in wanting to adopt an adult girl? Is it adoption or keeping a mistress? If you want a partner, go elsewhere. Why come here?" Sophia is already an adult. She can decide for herself whether she wants to be adopted. The director clearly didn't want to put it too bluntly, so he tossed the choice to Sophia Taylor. "Sophia, would you be willing to leave the orphanage with him?" the director asked. Sophia Taylor heard this, lifted her head to look at me, her delicate brows slightly furrowing, and said firmly, "Director, I can support myself with my part-time job." Between the lines, it all meant she didn't want to go with me. Understandable. After all, in this life we have never met. To her, I am nothing more than a stranger. I roll my eyes inward, an idea forming, and leaning close to her ear, I murmured, "If you come with me, I can donate $3 million to the orphanage. That money could let the younger siblings eat better, dress warmer, and have improved learning conditions." Sophia Taylor froze, taking a full 3 minutes to digest what I had said. She stared at me intently, her gaze full of complex emotions, as if trying to etch me into her memory. Finally, she gently nodded her delicate head, her voice trembling slightly. I will go with him." Haha, everything went exactly as I expected. That day, I took Sophia Taylor back to the marital home I shared with Luna Reed. She carried her backpack, stepped into the house carefully, glanced around, and finally fixed her eyes on the wedding photo on the wall. That's your wife? You're married?" Her voice held a trace of unease. I only just realized, slapped my forehead in annoyance. "She's my ex-wife, we divorced. I forgot to take down that photo." Saying that, I quickly set Sophia Taylor's suitcase aside, hurriedly removed the wedding photo, and turned it to face the wall. I'll throw it away later. I stole a glance at Sophia Taylor. Although I couldn't read her thoughts, the way she stared at the photo clearly showed a trace of displeasure. Indeed, Sophia Taylor didn't know what was going on either. Seeing the woman in the wedding photo, standing beside the man who had adopted her, made it seem as if her territory had been invaded. "Sophia, you'll stay in the side bedroom. Pack up. I'll take you to buy some household necessities." I had her stay in the side bedroom. In the mall, I led her through the shops, and when I saw pretty clothes, delicate shoes, and sparkling accessories, I bought them without hesitation whenever I thought they suited her, whether she wanted them or not. "This bracelet is too expensive." She shrank back, pushing the delicate, costly bracelet away. I took it back, put the bracelet on her wrist directly. "Trust me, you deserve it. Actually, I know her taste too well. She will definitely like these things." That night, Sophia Taylor, having washed up, came into my room wearing her pajamas. I was a little surprised and asked with concern, "What's wrong? Are you uncomfortable sleeping in that room?" She sat on the edge of the bed, hesitated for a long time, and mumbled, "I'm an adult, not a child." As she spoke, she began taking off her clothes, her lips moving. "I can sleep with you, but I'm not your golden canary. Take me to school tomorrow. I still have classes to attend." She mercilessly exposed my nurturing plan, and I felt a bit embarrassed. But I wasn't hiding it. I truly intended for her to become my girlfriend, even my wife. I just didn't expect her to mistakenly think I wanted to keep her as a canary. "Sophia, you're not my canary. You are my swan." That night, I held Sophia in my arms. We shared a passionate kiss and even more intimate moments, but I always kept the final line of defense. I wanted her to know, my feelings for her are not just desire, but genuine. However, the tenderness of being together day and night finally made me lose my composure. We'd only been together a few days, but faced with such a lively, adorable her, a strapping young man, truly couldn't hold out, and we crossed that line. No way around it. I'm no saint. Confronted with a delicious feast, it's hard to resist digging in. The next day, she curled up in my arms like a little kitten. Her peaceful sleeping face made me involuntarily smile. No matter what happened before, now she finally belongs to me. In this life, I swear to give her a sufficiently privileged life so she can be herself without worries and pursue her dreams. From then on, I was both her guardian and her boyfriend. I helped her review her lessons, hired the best tutors for her, and took care of her meticulously in both study and life. One day my mom came to help me tidy the house and happened to catch me fooling around with Sophia Taylor. At that time, Sophia Taylor was wearing a school uniform, brimming with youth. When my mom saw this, her face instantly went deathly pale. She quickly pulled me aside and scolded me. "You little brat, no wonder you refuse to go on blind dates. Turns out the family has been hiding someone. It's not that I'm blaming you. You're an adult. How could you be abducting a high school girl?" I scratched my head. Thinking it over, she didn't really seem wrong. But I'm thick-skinned. Grinning, I said, "Mom, so don't tell anyone." My mother looked at me like that, helplessly shaking her head and sighing. And in my heart, though a bit helpless, I also felt sweet. Who told me the girl I like, Sophia Taylor, is still a high school student? Even if she were a middle schooler, I would still bring her home and spoil her. Don't be nervous once you're in the exam room. You can do it. 2 months later, on the day of the college entrance exam, I stood outside the exam hall holding little Sophia's hand tightly, cheering her on. Sophia looked up at me and smiled sweetly, lightly nodding her delicate head. "Don't worry, I'm not nervous at all. Trust me, I'll get into Harvard." Her gaze was steady and confident. As she turned and stepped into the exam hall, she exuded a calm, unhurried aura, as if this test had long been fully prepared for. Of course I knew she could do it. In her previous life, Sophia Taylor had entered Harvard as the state's top scorer, later set up a biology lab, founded a pharmaceutical company, and became a legendary businesswoman and CEO. As someone reborn, my taste in choosing a wife would naturally not be wrong. I watched her figure disappear through the exam hall gates, and like the other parents, I waited anxiously. Suddenly, an unknown number called. Out of instinct, I hung up, but the caller persistently dialed again. The moment it connected, after a few seconds of silence, that voice that made my scalp tingle came. "Ethan Johnson, are you okay?" It was Luna Reed's voice. After spending so many years together in the last life, I knew it intimately. "Hello. Hello, my signal's bad. I'm hanging up, huh?" I replied curtly and cut the call off quickly. Her previous number had long been blocked by me, and I didn't hesitate to drag this new one into the blacklist as well. I only hoped she and Connor Blake would live quietly and stop disturbing my life. Meanwhile, in a dim basement somewhere in Los Angeles, Luna Reed clutched her phone, her face as cold as frost. The squalid surroundings and cramped space formed a stark contrast to the life of privilege she once led. She stared at her roughened fingers and the face no longer smooth, remembering how, when she was with me, she didn't have to lift a finger around the house, let alone endure the smoke and grease of cooking. Now, for a living, she could only work as a waitress in a restaurant, squeezed into this tiny space with Connor Blake, her former refinement worn away by trivialities. "Ethan Johnson, how dare you hang up on me? Just wait, I'll make you regret this." She gritted her teeth, suddenly grabbed a pen, and began writing furiously on the paper. Hearing that writing novels could make money, she used our marriage as a blueprint and started creating her first novel, Love Him. Unlike the previous life, which featured Connor Blake as the protagonist, this time she made me the core of the story more than 20 years ahead of schedule, fantasizing that through this, she could turn her life around and make me regret abandoning her. Me. He seemed to have taken Connor Blake's place, becoming the white moonlight of this life. Or perhaps the dark moonlight. I knew nothing about it, nor did I care. When the exam ended, Sophia ran out of the exam room with a smile and threw herself straight into my arms. Hey, so many people are watching." I felt a little embarrassed by the looks directed at us. She slyly glanced at the crowd, stood on tiptoe, and lightly pecked my lips, then playfully took a bow to the cheering onlookers, drawing rounds of applause and laughter from those around us. The girl in my arms who once suppressed her nature in the orphanage has now, nourished by love, transformed into someone vibrantly free and uninhibited, which makes my heart stir even more. I love my Sophia so much. After the college entrance exam, I took Sophia abroad for a vacation to relax. After returning to the country, I formally introduced her to my parents. My father pulled me aside and asked in a low voice, "Son, how old is this girl?" 18. My answer made his brows furrow. Only 18, not old enough to be married. Sophia happened to overhear, immediately stepped closer, smiling with crescent eyes. "Uncle Johnson, I'm an adult. In at most 2 years, I can marry Ethan. Father pondered for a moment, figured waiting 2 years wasn't too long, and smiled. Girl, when you two get married, we'll definitely give you a wedding you'll never forget. Obviously, my dad approved of Sophia. After all, compared to Luna Reed's coldness toward my family, Sophia was far too gentle. She always looked at me with bright eyes and stuck close to my side. Anyone could see she liked me too. How could my parents not notice? Their eyes are sharp. Half a year passed in the blink of an eye. At that time, I was on the phone with my assistant in New York. What? Bitcoin has already risen to $100. Don't sell, keep buying. Oh, and open a few more accounts to spread it out. I can't feel comfortable keeping hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins in one account. What if they get stolen? After hanging up, I happily tapped my phone. $100 each, really ridiculously cheap. Remember, they'll rise to $100,000 each someday. Hee, I'm going to be rich. I invested in every project that could possibly skyrocket in value. The dream of becoming a business tycoon was almost realized. I even hired top foreign photolithography researchers through intermediaries to prepare early for the duopoly battle a decade from now. At this moment, I was standing in front of a car dealership in Los Angeles, accompanying Sophia to buy a car. By coincidence, my ex-wife Luna Reed, whom I hadn't seen in almost a year, appeared in front of me arm in arm with a man. Hey, Ethan Johnson, is that you? Seeing me, Luna Reed almost dropped her jaw. I came to Los Angeles to accompany Sophia with her studies, and while I was here, I'd look for good investment opportunities. When she realized it was me, Luna Reed quickly withdrew her hand from the man's arm, hooked a finger through the hair by her ear, and put on a coy look. Holy SH. She hurried to sever ties with the man, and I felt she still had lingering feelings for me, which made me shiver all over. Of course, in this life, the two of us had already severed our ties long ago. She could no longer hurt me the way she did in the last life. But in my heart, there was still a shadow of her. Luna, this is... The man beside me looked at me and asked Luna Reed. My ex-husband. Luna Reed stared at me, her gaze fixed, then said to me, Long time no see, Ethan Johnson, you've become more handsome. I was already handsome before, you know. I still have things to do. I intended to return to Sophia's side, but these two wouldn't let me. Hey. Luna Reed tugged my sleeve, getting very close, looking at me with tender eyes. It's been a long time since we met. How about the two of us find somewhere to sit and talk? The man beside her had reddened eyes. Luna Reed, shouldn't you keep some distance from your ex-husband? I agreed with what the current man said, but Luna Reed seemed not to care about him at all. Go cool off somewhere. I'm talking to my ex. What do you have to do with it? Her tone was cold, edged with irritation, nothing like the calm she had a year ago. The man was Connor Blake, whose photo I had seen in my previous life. Luna Reed was with the woman he had always longed for, yet in just 1 year, there was already a strong sense of distance between them. But Connor Blake seemed to be afraid of her. He glared at me coldly, shot me a sour look, and stormed off in anger. Ethan Johnson, how are you living now? Have you ever thought of me? Luna Reed tried to take my hand, but I pulled away. She went on talking to herself, imagining things. I know, you're still mad at me. I admit, it was my fault before. I didn't consider your feelings when I divorced you. But I didn't marry Connor. I'm still single. Whether you're single or not is none of my damn business. I was too lazy to respond and turned to leave. She grabbed me and wouldn't let go. Ethan, don't go yet. I have money now. Can I support you instead? Can we remarry? I am stunned. What did she say? I just felt a lump of shit waving at me. She even said she'd support me. I chuckled and, intrigued by how much money she had, asked, You mean you came to support me? Yes, let me support you. Luna Reed seemed to see hope for reconciliation. I know it was my fault before, letting you support me all this time and not treating you well. I've made quite a bit of money writing novels. Here's the deal. You're here to buy a car too, right? Pick any car here. As long as it doesn't exceed $1 million, I'll let you buy it. She was eager to show off. I wasn't surprised that she wrote novels to make money. After all, in the last life, she had written a book that became wildly popular across the country. The very novel that drove me crazy. I just hadn't expected that in this life, she would start the road of writing for money so early. When it came to feelings, in the last life, it was I who held her back from using her talent. But you can tell from her buying me $1 million car that her total assets now are probably a few $1 million. Actually, I overestimated. Luna Reed only has a little over $1 million in royalties in her account. But to be able to remarry me, she was willing to use most of her funds to buy me the car. As soon as she spoke, before I could say anything, Connor Blake, who had been eavesdropping on our conversation, couldn't sit still and hurried over. Luna Reed, what do you mean? He's your ex-husband, and you're still going to buy him a car? Connor Blake let loose with profanity and continued to scold Luna Reed. I begged and finally agreed to buy me a $200,000 car. You just met him, and you're already rushing to give him a $1 million car. What do you take me for? I feel like he lost his cool. This Connor Blake isn't a good guy either. Knowing full well Luna Reed is already married, he still flirted with her at the class reunion, making eyes and cozying up to her. The money I earn, I want to spend it on, is my freedom. Luna Reed pouted, arguing with him. I watched their quarrel coldly, feeling only one thing. How wonderful. Sophia noticed the commotion on our side, hurried over, stopped beside me, and began to cluck about what was happening. I turned to her and asked, "Have you chosen the color?" I chose red. Sophia pulled herself together and answered me. We had already picked out a coupe, just waiting for Sophia to choose the color she liked. Sophia was a bit daunted by the price of the car. They said that car is over $3 million, and with fees, it comes to nearly $4 million. I think it's too expensive. A boar won't eat fine millet. I ruffled her nose, which made her pout at me in annoyance. On one side, Luna Reed was surprised at the sight. Ethan Johnson, what is your relationship with her? Connor Blake next to her was shocked by something else. What? You two are going to buy a $4 million car? Huh. He sneered as he looked us over, his eyes full of doubt. Don't try to fool people. Stop pretending. If you can actually afford a $4 million car, I'll do a live stream eating while standing on my head. I glanced silently at the luxury brand logo on my clothes and thought to myself that Brother Connor needed to clear his eyes. Then I drew a breath, put my hand around Sophia Taylor, and introduced her to Luna Reed. Luna Reed, let me introduce you. This is my girlfriend, Sophia Taylor. As for your suggestion of getting back together, sorry, I have no intention of going back to an old relationship. Having said that, she ignored the two of them, turned and strode up to the sales girl, and under the gaze of everyone in the room, took out a black card and handed it over with flair. Full payment, charge it. I shouldn't have shown off by flashing my black card in front of Luna Reed. That greatly strengthened her determination to remarry me. A friend called to tell me that my ex-wife had asked him what had happened to me over the past year. My friend is blunt. He told her that my house was demolished and I received $150 million in compensation. I knew my friend wanted to see Luna Reed kneel before me, begging to remarry. Sure enough, a few days later, Luna Reed appeared at the door of my large Los Angeles apartment. Security here is tight. I don't know how she got in. I pretended I wasn't home, but she blocked me in the garage. Ethan, give me a chance. I've already broken things off with Connor Blake. Really, actually, I've only ever had eyes for you. When I first came to Los Angeles, I already regretted it. But when I called you, you didn't pick up, and you blocked me. I've been holding on to this anger, thinking I'd make something of myself here, and then come back to find you. You must still love me too. Break up with that girl and remarry me. Okay. She unexpectedly hugged me tightly, refusing to let go. Tears fell like beads strung on a broken thread, streaming down and soaking a large patch of my chest. My custom-tailored suit. I cried out inwardly. That suit was really expensive. I was going to wear it today to see Ian Zhang, but Luna Reed messed it up and I'm heartbroken. Luna Reed, you were the one who cried and begged for a divorce back then, chasing your true love. I respected your choice and let you go. And now you want to remarry, treating marriage like child's play, do whatever you want. I said as I tried to pry her hand away, only to find it held tight in an embrace. If force is used, it will surely cause him harm. I admit it, it's all my fault. But I have learned my lesson. Every day I spent away from you was worse than death. Ethan, don't give up on me. I'm not after your demolition compensation. I just want to be with you. Even if we don't remarry, let me be your secret lover. Secret lover. Heh. I sneered and curled my lip. The woman at home works out 7 or 8 times a day. How could she have energy to spare for another woman? Luna Reed, you really are here. Why do you get a breakup just like that? If you want to get rid of me, it'll take $1 million. It was Connor's younger brother who appeared just in time to save me. I had never found him so agreeable. Luna Reed was extremely annoyed with him, and I was utterly sick of Luna Reed. I slipped into the car while they were arguing and drove away. To avoid being harassed, I took Sophia Taylor and went to live abroad for a while. But even so, I couldn't escape Luna Reed's entanglement. Her novel Loving Him became a hit again. But in this life, the male lead from a novel was replaced by me. This was unexpected. Worse, Luna Reed directly used our real names in the novel. For a time, stories of Luna Reed's deep love for her ex-husband, Ethan Johnson, spread all over the country. Luna Reed even appeared on live streams, looking into the camera and speaking tenderly about her longing and affection for me. It made my Sophia as furious as a scolded cat. She grabbed her laptop, stayed up all night, and argued online with those netizens who hoped Luna Reed and I would reconcile. In response, I replied with a single line on social media. The past is past. I hope we all look forward. Belated affection is cheaper than weeds. Originally, I was going to post that line, but there are all kinds of people among netizens, and I was afraid of provoking them and thus affecting Sophia, so I chose a milder sentence in response. Many people really don't use their brains. True devotion cannot be easily lured apart. If it can be separated, it isn't true devotion. At least one party isn't devoted enough. After posting it to Moments, I didn't worry about what came next. After all, I have money. No matter how big the storms outside, they can't affect my little household. But soon, I learned an unexpected piece of news. Luna Reed was hospitalized. The cause was that Connor Blake had kidnapped her, demanded a huge sum of money, and beat her. During the ordeal, she was accidentally pushed down the stairs, left paralyzed, and was said to have only a few days to live. When I heard that news, I almost burst into tears. I almost laughed myself to tears. Actually, I always knew that when two scoundrels get together, nothing good will come of it. So, I never took revenge. In just over a year, the outcome arrived. I rushed back to Los Angeles overnight with Sophia Taylor. On the way, I picked a bunch of wildflowers from a flower bed, a smile on my face, and went to the hospital. When I saw Luna Reed, she was on her last breath, lying in a hospital bed, her whole body unable to move except for her head. When she saw me, tears glistened in her eyes. Ethan, you came to see me. She was clearly about to go. Me, I sent the others away. I turned to look at Luna Reed, my expression amused. Luna Reed, actually, I'm here to watch you make a fool of yourself. My words made her expression falter. I'm dying, and you still won't forgive me. She was hoping for my forgiveness. Too bad. That's impossible. In my previous life, when I was furious to the point of breaking, she was busy seeing her white moonlight. How could I forgive her? Luna Reed, even if you die, I still won't forgive you. I said harshly. I stood up, glanced at her oxygen tube, and said, ouch, that thing must be uncomfortable to wear. Come on, I'll pull it out for you. Saying that, I reached to pull the tube. Luna Reed stared wide-eyed. She surely never expected I'd hate her enough to rip out her oxygen tube. But I didn't actually do it. A person who is about to die, she should be left to linger and suffer her death slowly. Just as my hand was about to touch the oxygen tube, I withdrew it, placed it in front of me, and patted it, as if to wipe away the feud between the two of them. Then I smiled faintly and strode out of the ICU. Sophia is waiting for me outside. Seeing me come out, she immediately hooked her arm through mine. The two of us walked step by step toward the stairwell exit, glowing with light. The past drifts away like the wind. For the rest of my life, may those around me be safe year after year, and may all they wish for come true. I also wish my readers smooth paths in whatever they undertake, and continual health and good fortune. Epilogue. My name is Luna Reed. I clearly remember that I was already dead, but when I opened my eyes again, I was back at last year's class reunion.